Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
All right, let's take it from the top again. Places. Action.
Well, let's see. We have on the bags, we have who's on first, what's on second, I don't know is on third.
That's what I want to find out.
I say who's on first, what's on second, I don't know is on third.
Are you the manager?
Yes.
You going to be the coach, too?
Yes.
And you know the fellow's name?
Well, I should.
Well, then who's on first?
Yes.
I mean the fellow's name.
Who?
The guy on first.
Who?
The first baseman.
Who?
The guy playing first.
Who is on first?
I'm asking you who's on first.
That's the man's name.
That's whose name?
Yes.
Well, go ahead and tell me.
That's it.
That's who?
Yes.
Join us for another voyage back in time on Classic Radio Rewind. From adventures to westerns, from comedy to sci-fi, this is your ticket to Theater of the Mind. Without any further ado, here's your host for Classic Radio Rewind, Barry Slinker.
Thank you, Mr. Dexrow, and welcome to this edition of Classic Radio Rewind. I'm Barry Slinker, and I am excited to share another 2 hours of programming from the golden age of radio. This week, we are going to hear from the Green Hornet from 1939, followed by an episode from the Fibber McGee and Molle Show from 1944, and finally, the Molle Mystery Theater from 1946. This week, we start off from Gene Autry's Melody Ranch. Gene Autry's Melody Ranch was a Sunday evening staple on CBS. The show ran for an impressive 16 years from 1940 to 1956 and featured a mix of songs, comedy, and action-packed drama. Throughout its run, the show was proudly sponsored by the refreshingly minty Double Mint gum. And here, sometime from the 1950s, is the Gene Autry Melody Ranch with Chief Silver Eagle on Classic Radio Rewind.
And Gene Autry. I'm back in the saddle again, out where a friend is a friend, where the longhorn cattle feed down the road against me. I'm back in the saddle. I'm looking over a four-leaf clover that I overlooked before. One leaf is sunshine, the other is rain. Third is the roses that grow in the lane. No need explaining, the one remaining is somebody I adore. I'm looking over a four-leaf clover that I overlooked before. I'm looking over a four-leaf clover that I overlooked before. One leaf is sunshine, the other is rain. Third is the roses that bloom in the lane. No need explaining, the one remaining is somebody I adore. I'm looking over a four-leaf clover that I overlooked before. Well, thank you there, friends and neighbors, and especially you friends out there in the audience. Yes, sir, it's time once again for our weekly open house here at Melody Ranch.
Don't ever be afraid to go home.
Don't ever be afraid to go home. When you've hitched your wagon to a fast fallen star, and the last string is broken on your love-sick guitar. Whatever you're doing and wherever you are, don't ever be afraid. Don't ever be afraid to go home.
He used to be afraid to go home.
But one day I was made to go home. Now I was almost certain they would lock the door on me.
'Cause he's a sour apple on his old family tree.
But folks who really loved me made me welcome as could be. Don't ever be afraid.
Don't ever be afraid to go home.
Don't ever be afraid to go home. Don't ever be afraid to go home. When you've hitched your wagon to a fast-falling star, and the last string is broken on your lovesick guitar, whatever you're doing and wherever you are, don't ever be afraid.
Don't ever be afraid to go home.
You don't mind if I register a slight complaint, do you?
Are you kidding? I'd think that there was something wrong if you didn't. What's it all about this time?
Well, my room over in the bunkhouse, Mr. Autry. You know that new Murphy bed and Morris chair that you moved in there?
Yeah? And what about it?
Well, now, the room's so small that every time I close the door, Murphy and Morris get in bed with me.
Must be nice and cozy.
Well, I got news for you. Either Murphy and Morris go or I do, one of the two.
Well, we're going to miss you around here, son.
Well, while I'm on the subject of complaining, there's another thing.
I was pretty sure there would be. Now, what is it?
Well, just this. I'm through getting up every morning at 5 o'clock just to go out and feed them dad-blamed chickens.
But, Patrick, the chickens have to eat, don't they?
Okay, if they're hungry, let one of them lay an egg and they can split it amongst themselves.
I don't know why they have to lay them. You do a pretty good job of laying them for them.
You hate me, don't you?
No, I don't hate you. Now get lost for a few minutes, will you?
Nothing doing. I still got one more little complaint.
Oh, what's that?
Well, the gramophone over in the bunkhouse. We need
the what?
Gramophone, the Victrola thing. We need some
gramophone.
old records for it.
Old records?
Yeah.
You mean new records, don't you?
I mean old records. I'm getting tired of all these here new modern-day songs. They just don't make sense to me.
Is that so?
Yes.
Well, explain yourself.
Okay, for instance, used to everybody'd sing a nice, old, beautiful song like, oh, where have you been, Billy boy, where have you been, charming Billy? Now, what do they sing? Ham bone, where you been, round the world and gone again. Ham bone.
It doesn't do much for you, Pac.
No, it don't send me. It don't even make me want to go.
Oh, it don't make...
No. For instance, here's another one, too. Used to, one of my favorites was the waltz you saved for me. I'll always remember the waltz you saved for me. Beautiful. Mm-hmm. Now, what do they sing? I warm so easy, so dance me loose.
Well, I'll have to grant you that there is a difference.
I'll say there's a difference. Not only the songs they sing, but the fellers they got singing them nowadays.
Oh?
For instance, everybody now is raving about Johnny Ray and Marlon Brando.
Mm-hmm.
Put them both together, what do you wind up with?
I'll bite. What do you wind up with?
A guy crying 'cause somebody tore the shirt off of his back.
I'm a fool to care when you treat me this way. I know I love you, but what can I do? I'm a fool to care. I'm a fool to cry when you tell me goodbye. You left me so blue when you were untrue. I'm a fool to care. I know I should laugh and call it a day, but I know I would cry if you went away. I'm a fool to care when you don't care for me. Why should I pretend I'll lose in the end? I'm a fool to care. I know I should laugh and call it a day, but I know I would cry if you went away. I'm a fool to care when you don't care for me. Why should I pretend I'll lose in the end? I'm a fool to care. Thank you, friends. Many, many thanks. You know, I guess one of the things a cattleman dreads most is an epidemic of hoof and mouth disease. I will say one thing, though. We've been pretty lucky out here in this part of the country. But I remember once, a long time ago, we had a scare that not only affected our livestock, but almost caused a small war as well. It all began early one morning when Johnny Bond and I were riding out over part of our south range and just spotted what we thought was a stray steer. Whoa, champ.
Whoa, girl, whoa. Huh? Sure don't look like one of ours, Gene.
Oh, we'll know in just a... Hey, wait a minute.
What's the matter?
Look at this steer's mouth, Johnny.
Holy smoke. Hoof and mouth disease.
Sure is. But that don't bother me as much as this brand.
New one on me. Looks like it might be the sun with a streak of lightning through it.
That's exactly what it is, Johnny. This steer belongs to that tribe of Indians living on the other side of Sundown Mountain.
Well, I'll be. But, Gene, how did it get way over here?
I'll give you the answer to that question after we go over and talk to the chief. The tribe of Chief Silver Eagle was, and still is, a peaceful, law-abiding clan of Indians, even though some folks around here consider them primitive in lots of ways. They grow all their own food and depend upon the white man for practically nothing. As a consequence, the only time you're ever likely to see one of them is when their cattle happen to stray over on our range, as was true in this particular case.
What white man want?
We found one of your steers badly infected with hoof and mouth disease over on our range, Chief.
So?
I'm afraid that you'll have to destroy him.
White man come with trick. Want Indian kill cattle. No kill steer. Him sick, he get well.
That's where you're wrong, Chief. You'll only spread the disease to the rest of the herd.
Silver Eagle no understand. Live here in peace. No bother white man. All time white man make trouble for Indian. Great-grandfather tell Silver Eagle, stay away from white man. No get in trouble. Me no kill steer. You no trick Indian.
Okay, Chief. That's the way you feel about it. Come on, Johnny, let's go.
But, Gene...
Come on, I said.
Look, pal, it ain't none of my business. But why don't you go back and tell that stubborn old coot we're going to kill his steer anyway?
Violence isn't the way to solve anything, Johnny. Besides, I've got another idea.
Yeah, all I can say is it better be good. Because if that hoof and mouth stuff ever starts running wild again, like it did 8 years ago, the ranchers around here might just as well start kissing their herds goodbye.
Don't you think I realize that?
Well, you sure don't sound like it.
Maybe not. But listen to what I have to say first.
Okay, what?
Chief Silver Eagle has a son named Charlie attending State Agricultural College over in Capital City.
So what you going to do, send the old man to college too?
Not quite. But maybe through his son, we can bring the college to him. So you see, Charlie, if we don't stop the disease right now, all of our cattle are in danger. Not only your father's, but my people's, too.
I understand, Mr. Autry. However, I'm afraid there's much more to this than meets the eye.
Go on.
First, you must know my father. He is not a stupid man. Rather, he is simply living by ancient laws. You see, he believes that a great Indian father in heaven will protect both himself and his people. Consequently, all his faith is concentrated in that belief.
I know, Charlie. But surely you can see that the steer is sick.
True. I agree with you.
Then can't he be made to realize something should be done about it?
In his mind, Mr. Autry, he is doing something about it. In fact, probably right at this very moment, my father and his medicine man are calling on the great Indian spirit to cure this disease and protect their people.
You mean to tell me
Now, wait a minute, Johnny, wait a minute. Look, Charlie, and believe me, it's not that I don't respect his beliefs.
I know what you're going to say, Mr. Autry. That's why I came to the university, so that I might learn, and thereby teach my father and his people how to preserve the ancient lore of their ancestors, yet still benefit from modern-day knowledge. Come, perhaps your problem will help me to start. Together we will see my father.
Silver Eagle, happy to see son. Son, now stay with tribe.
Not right yet, I'm afraid, Father. This is just a visit. I must first return and finish my education.
Father, teach boy all need know. Boy, stay with tribe.
Please, Father. Someday I will. Right now I have brought a friend with me. A good friend.
He no friend. He want to kill Indian cattle.
But, Father, don't you see it's for your own good? Even as I stand here now, more and more of your cattle are dying. Is this not true?
Others get well. Great Indian spirit make them well. No need help of white man.
But, Chief, now please listen.
No, you listen. Great Indian father no want white man in village. Son, stay. You go. Never return.
Strange, isn't it? I had a funny feeling when I left Charlie there, almost like I had just seen him for the last time. What's more, the next day passed without any word from him, until by evening I had started getting a little worried.
Hey, Gene, remember this one? I was hanging around town, not earning a dime, being out of a job just to spending my time. When I thought...
Hey, Johnny, listen.
Well, what's the matter? Tom-toms.
Indian tom-toms, Johnny. And if I'm not mistaken, that sounds like their death dance.
That means somebody's dead?
No, but it does mean one of the tribe's dying. The others dance to ward off the spirit.
Brother, sure gives me the creeps.
Quick, Johnny, saddle the horses.
What for?
We're going into town, pick up Doc Reynolds. Then we're heading for that Indian village. I think I know what's happened. After we'd picked up the doc, all three of us headed for the other side of Sundown Mountain as fast as we could make it. Where less than an hour later, I saw and heard something I'll never forget. The flames of giant fires pierced the darkness, and around them danced hundreds of natives, all chanting their weird prayer to the Indian god, Death. Not long after that, we found Chief Silver Eagle. I needed only one look at his face to know what had happened.
White men go. Go far away. Bring evil spirit to haunt sick boy.
So it is Charlie that's sick.
Boy, show faith in father. When you go, he gather tribe together and tell them Chief Silver Eagle right. He say he no afraid to eat meat of sick cattle.
You mean your son actually ate the meat of an infected steer?
Great Indian father protect him. He no die.
Look, Chief, this man's a doctor. You've got to let him help you.
Medicine man inside. He help boy. No need white man medicine. You go now. Me return to son.
But, Gene, this is unbelievable. What do we do now?
I'm afraid there's not much we can do, Doc, except just wait.
But there must be something. The boy doesn't have to die.
I know. Funny, isn't it? You've got the medicine to give him life. Yet they're in there doing some silly mumbo-jumbo.
But why? Will you tell me... Listen.
Yeah, the drums have stopped.
Great Indian father call. Boy dead.
Dead?
Come on, Doc. Hurry. How is he, Doc?
The next 10 hours should tell the story, Gene. But I'd say his chances are just about 50-50. In fact, Gene?
Yeah, Charlie. I'm right here.
My father?
Your father will be right back, son.
Yes. Does he understand now?
Father understand. Son die. White doctor make him live again. Chief, never forget.
there. I'll never get over how close that one was. Matter of fact, I'm still shaking. Look.
Don't give me that stuff. You're like Buttram. You always shake.
Well, not like this, I don't always. Say, by the way, not to be nosy or nothing like that, but would you please mind telling me how 1 minute that kid could be dead and 5 minutes later be living again?
Well, Johnny, from what the doc said, it seems that Charlie had a 105-degree fever, brought on mostly by the infection in his system.
So?
When the fever reached its peak, his heart stopped beating momentarily. The Indian medicine man naturally thought he had died. But just moments later, the wonders of modern-day medicine took over. Doc Reynolds gave Charlie an injection of some kind of a new drug, and in just a matter of seconds, his heart was beating again.
Man, oh, man. You know, I wouldn't believe it if I hadn't have been right there and seen it happen with my own 2 eyes.
Me either, Johnny. Incidentally, speaking of things you wouldn't believe unless you saw them with your own eyes, take a look out over the edge there, over the edge of that trail. You ever see anything so pretty in your whole life?
I'll say I haven't. Funny thing, Gene. Looking down on that valley from way up here, it's almost like we was sitting on a cloud.
You can say that again. In fact, I was just thinking. I can, by reaching on high, touch a star in the sky from the rim of the canyon. Lo, I can see far below, where the cool waters flow from the rim of the canyon. Gazing on the wonders that grew at God's command, seems that He's so near me, I can feel the touch of His hand. Night and the day is in flight. What a glorious sight from the rim of the canyon.
Gazing on the wonders that grew at God's command, seems that He's so near me, I can feel the touch of His hand.
Night and the day is in flight. What a glorious sight from the rim of the canyon, from the rim of the canyon, from the rim of the canyon. Well, good friends, that seems to be the last rung on the old ladder for this Melody Ranch party. But we've got another swell get-together lined up for you at this same time and over these same stations, so try and join us then, won't you? Meantime, this is Gene Autry asking you to keep thinking of us until we're back in the saddle again. Out where a friend is a friend, where the longhorn cattle feed on the lowly Jimson weed, I'm back in the saddle again, riding the range once more,
toting my old 44, where you sleep out every night and the only law is right, back in the saddle again. Whoopie-tie-I-oh, rocking to and fro, back in the saddle again. Whoopie-tie.
That was the Gene Autry Melody Ranch with Chief Silver Eagle with an unknown air date, but from the 1950s. Next up on Classic Radio Rewind, an episode from the Green Hornet. The Green Hornet foils an attempt to bribe legislators into passing a gambling bill. From June 20th, 1939, this is the Green Hornet with Money Talks Too Loud.
The Green Hornet. He hunts the biggest of all game, public enemies that even the G-men cannot reach. The Green Hornet. Adventurer, Money Talks Too Loud. The events and characters depicted in this drama are fictitious. Any similarity to actual persons, living or dead, is purely coincidental.
Hey, Clicker, I got some news from the state capitol.
Lay off, Lowry. This is my busy 2 weeks. Don't sit there.
Huh?
You're almost having some enlarging paper. I'm in a hurry to get my desk packed up. Freeze, will you?
Where are you going? You don't rate a vacation till August.
This, mister, is no vacation.
Special assignment? Where are you going? What are you going to photograph?
I'm not taking any pictures for the next 2 weeks. I'm filling in for Lenore Case on her vacation.
You're what?
Believe it or not, big boy, I'm to be secretary to the boss.
How do you like that? You? Say, no fooling.
No fooling, brother. So clear away from the desk. I'm doing his office now. He'll be in himself in a little while.
Like funny, Will. He's not due before noon today.
Well, that's what you think.
I know it. And if you don't believe it, ask the society Ed. She saw him at that Bernard dame's party last night.
Was he there?
Sure.
Gosh. I guess it must have been quite a party. There were a lot of big shots from the state capitol there.
Yeah, big shots is hot. What'd you say?
What's the matter with you? I said there were a lot of senators and things there.
There were? Oh, I wish I'd known that. I'd have barged in myself. I want to talk to some of those birds.
For what?
A slant on the horse racing bill.
What's that?
Don't you read the papers?
Nope. I just look at the pictures.
They're trying to put a bill through to legalize betting on the GGs.
They are? Say, that'd be all right, wouldn't it?
That's what you think. Don't make a crack like that in front of Britt Reed.
Is he against the bill?
And how?
But he can't be.
Oh, he can't, huh? Tell him that, Toots. Go on and tell him that.
Think I'm afraid to? Look here, smart guy. The Brannigan bill is before the committee right now.
What bill?
Brannigan. That's the horse race bill, in case you didn't know.
Oh.
And the bookies have gotten together about 50,000 smackers to lobby against it.
Why, you don't...
And money talks in the state capitol.
You say you don't read the papers?
If Britt Reed starts a string of articles against the bill, he'll be stringing right along with the bookies, and he can't do that.
Sister, maybe you've got something there. But tell me this. How can he take a stand in favor of the bill?
Well, why can't he?
In the first place, there are too many bad angles to it. Too many places for the grafters to get in. Too little protection for the state. Why, it costs more to collect the state's taxes than the amount of revenue it would bring in.
Gosh, I didn't know all that.
I'm telling you.
Well, tell me more.
It would mean that the state would sanction gambling. That would open everything up again for the operators of the slot machines, the dog races, the pinballs, the numbers games and the policy rackets, and the lotteries. If the state allows gambling on horses, how can they stop it on other things? As it is now, people who know of bookies go and sol the bet from time to time, but the great rank and file of people aren't interested. Let gambling on the races be made legal, and everyone will be betting on the Gigi's instead of paying their groceries.
Gosh, you're doing swell, Lowry.
Oh, what's the use? The boss can't stand in favor of the bill for the reasons I've mentioned, and he can't oppose it without being on the side of the bookies who'll be broke if the bill's put through. He's right on the fence. The only thing for the Daily Sentinel to do is keep quiet about it.
Yeah. I've got a picture of Britt Reed keeping quiet on an issue as big as this. It's going to be fun to see just what he does do. I'm not so hot on this machine, Mr. Reed, but maybe I'll get better with practice.
You're doing all right, Miss Benny.
There. I guess that'll do. You want to sign it now?
I'll send it into my office with the rest of the letters when you have them finished.
Yes, sir.
Now, concerning this Brannigan bill that's in committee at the Capitol.
Oh, yes. Lowry was speaking about that this morning.
The Daily Sentinel is going to take a firm stand against it.
But, Mr. Reed...
I want Gunnigan advised that we're to campaign strongly in opposition.
Right along with the gambling interest, huh?
What?
I understand there's a lot of cash to hire lobbyists against the bill. The bookies put up the dough. Money.
Oh?
They'll be glad to know the Sentinel is with them.
With them?
Well, isn't that what your opposition amounts to?
Perhaps it is.
And that's the way it appeared to me. I suppose if you played your cards right, you might sell them some space.
Sell who what?
The bookies, some space. Why not?
Miss Benny, have you been talking to Lowry or Hawks?
Well, not about selling space.
The Sentinel is opposed to the passage of the Brannigan bill, but that doesn't mean we're in cahoots with the bookmakers.
No, sir.
Never mind that message to Gunnigan. I'll write an article myself.
Now, isn't this something? Look here, Gopher.
What you got, Farnsworth?
The Daily Sentinel is out with a knife for the Brannigan bill.
No fooling.
Read it yourself. Playing right along with us. I'm almost sorry we chipped into the pool to lobby against the bill. Why, now there isn't a chance of the thing going through.
This is pretty strong stuff, ain't it, boss?
Plenty strong. And this is just a beginning. I say when Britt Reed takes sides in an issue, he goes all the way.
When Britt Reed takes sides in an issue, Flicker, he goes all the way. That's the trouble.
Oh, why the dickens, Ed, couldn't he have stayed away from the office for the next few days? Hang it. He goes on his merry nightlife way with parties and dances and spends his afternoons at the club or polo or golf or tennis.
Yeah, I know, Click. It's old stuff. He never comes around with anything particular on his mind until there's something like this. Then he takes unfair advantage of the rest of us just because he happens to own the confounded paper.
Well, cheer up, Ed.
Cheer up? With every bookie in town tipping his hat to me?
I think maybe the boss will change his mind about going through with his campaign against the bill.
Him change his mind?
You wait, fella. I've been busy.
You?
Sure.
Hey, Finney!
Me?
Reed's calling for you. Get back where you belong.
Holy smoke, I didn't know he was in yet.
What'd you do?
Nothing, Guy. Just wait.
You said you'd been busy. Hey, wait a minute.
See you by and by, Lowry. I didn't know you'd come in yet, Mr. Reed. I'm sorry.
That's quite all right, Miss Benny. Rather glad I came in early this morning.
Early? Oh, yeah. Early for you.
Here's an interesting letter that was in my mail.
Oh, really?
It's a letter of thanks for the manner in which the Daily Sentinel is taking a stand against the Brannigan bill.
Oh?
Signed by the Green Hornet.
Not really.
No, not really.
What? Not really?
That's what I said.
But I don't...
Someone wrote this letter to me and forged the signature of the Green Hornet. It's quite an accurate copy of it. Not bad at all. It must have been done either from an original or a photograph of an original.
But how could you tell that?
I wonder if someone who wants me to take a neutral stand on the Brannigan bill might not have sent this to me.
Whatever gave you that impression?
Or possibly someone who'd like to see me reverse myself and go in favor of the bill, knowing that I dislike the gambling ring.
But mightn't it be genuine? After all, Mr. Reed, the Green Hornet might be involved in the gambling ring. And in that case...
I think I'll fire Ed Lowry because of this letter.
Fire Lowry?
Why can't he come out like a man and tell me what he thinks instead of going about it in this roundabout way?
But Lowry didn't do that, Mr. Reed.
Didn't do what?
He didn't send that to you.
How do you know, Miss Benny?
Gosh, I know the guy. He wouldn't do that sort of thing. Honest to Mike, he wouldn't. He'd come out with anything he had to say.
Yeah, that's what I always thought. I can't imagine anyone else who might have sent it.
Can you?
Well, gosh.
Well, don't try to think too hard, Miss Benny. We'll let the matter drop.
Well, isn't there some small chance that the Hornet might be opposed to the Brannigan bill?
Well, yes, Miss Benny. There is a chance that the Green Hornet might be opposed to the Brannigan bill.
Then you won't play along with the same side that the Green Hornet is on, surely.
Why?
Well,
Oh, I'm late. I'm due at the Civic Club for luncheon. You watch things here, Miss Benny.
Yes, sir.
If any more letters come from the Green Hornet, save them for me.
Yes, sir.
I have an idea there won't be any more.
I don't think there will be. Gosh, that guy gives a girl a headache that aspirin won't cure. Makes me feel like a first-class heel.
He's gone, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's gone.
Now give out, Clicker. What's the idea you had in mind?
Listen, Lowry, skip it. As an idea, it wasn't so hot.
Well, the boss has got to do something. A couple of the boys just blew in.
So what?
We're taking a sleigh ride. Everyone in town's giving us the berry.
What do you mean, everyone in town?
Well, all the bookies. They're thanking us for giving them a hand. Now, how do you like that?
I don't.
You'd be better off if...
Special for Mr. Reed.
Okay.
What's that?
I don't know. A letter of some sort.
Well, open her up. You're private secretary this week, aren't you? Maybe it's a lead on something.
Well, if it is, you won't get... Holy smoke!
Huh?
This is from the Green Hornet.
What? What's from the Hornet? What about the Hornet?
This is the real McCoy, the unadulterated real thing. A thanks letter for the stand the Sentinel has taken.
Signed the Green Hornet?
Signed the Green Hornet. Now what'll I do? Why does everything happen to me?
Sister, you invite things to happen. Now what?
I can't show this to him.
Well, why not? That's news.
Sure, it's news, but I thought the first one would be news.
First one?
Oh, Ed, I faked a letter just like this. I had a photo of one of the Hornet letters that are in the hands of the cops, and I faked one, thanking him for his stand against the Brannigan bill.
Yeah?
I thought maybe if he thought the Hornet was against the bill, he'd drop the publicity he's been running. And now a real letter comes in, and I can't show it to him.
Baby, you sure lead with your chin. Hey, but look, why not switch letters?
Huh?
Put this real one in the place of the one you showed him, see?
Oh, he knows the first was a fake. He saw something about it.
Yeah? Well, lay your cards on the table. Tell him the whole works and trust the luck that he don't give you the air.
Oh, he will. He was going to fire you.
Me? For what?
Well, he thought you'd sent the letter with a Hornet's mark on it.
Why, you...
I told him you didn't.
I'll never learn to stop talking to you. Sooner or later, I'm going to land in real trouble through you.
Oh, Lowry, I'm sorry. Hang it all. Didn't I have the interest of the paper at heart? I wanted to make the boss realize how things stood. That was the only reason I did it.
Sure, you thought you knew more about running the paper than he does.
Oh, gosh.
I don't know what he'll do, but you sure deserve getting canned.
All I can do now is to tell him the truth and take whatever he dishes out.
That evening, in his apartment, Britt Reed told Cato about the letters from the Green Hornet.
The first I suspected came from Miss Benny. It gave me an idea, you see, Cato?
What was that, Miss Britt?
I sent another letter in, and when I got back to the office, Miss Benny broke down and admitted that she'd sent the first. But I had Lowry make a page one story from the second.
What for?
To pave the way. Right now, I'm between two fires. I don't like to be in this position. I must take a stand against the Brannigan bill, but by taking that stand, I'm aligned with the gambling interests.
But what could the Hornets later do?
Every one of the gamblers will read it. They'll be ready for the call I'm going to make on some of them.
Yes?
I know who the ringleaders are. The biggest of all is a man named Farnsworth. His assistant is called Gopher.
Called what?
His name is Gables. They call him Gopher Gables.
Oh.
I also know the members of the legislature who will take money for their votes. And some of them are on the committee considering the Brannigan bill.
Who are they?
We needn't list the names just yet. I'm not ready for them.
Where are you going?
For the car. Come on with me. I may need you. I've got to leave the car to make some phone calls. You'll have to stay with the machine.
Very well.
Britt Reed went through a sliding panel in the rear of his clothes press, then between the walls of the apartment to a secret door that opened into an old, supposedly abandoned warehouse where the sleek black car of the Green Hornet was housed.
I don't know whether or not we'll get real action tonight, but we'll be ready for it, Cato. We'll take the mask and the weapons.
They're in the car.
Good enough.
But what do you do?
There's just one way to get out of this spot. That's to prevent the passage of the bill and smash the gambling ring. Both must be done.
How?
They say, Cato, that money talks. Well, in this case, if my plan works out, money is going to talk too loud.
The curtain falls on the first act of our Green Hornet adventure. Before the next exciting scenes, please permit us to pause for just a few moments. Now, to continue our story. Farnsworth and his aide, Gopher Gables, read the Sentinel with a great deal of amusement.
Can you beat it, Farnsworth? The Hornet tanking the Sentinel for what they're printing about the Brannigan bill.
Yeah, that's a good one. Or I wonder.
What's the matter, Mr. Farnsworth?
Maybe that message from the Green Hornet will have the reversed effect. I don't like the way it's been used here. The things that are written about it. It makes it look as if all of us were working with the Green Hornet. As if he was the boss of the whole bookmaking business in town.
Say, does it do that?
Yes. Maybe that'll make those fatheads in the Capitol pass the bill in spite of all we can do.
That won't do that, boss.
I wonder. Be quiet long enough for me to answer the phone. Well?
Farnsworth?
Yes, what is it?
You saw the Evening Sentinel?
Oh, naturally. Who are you?
It's going to cost more dough as a result of that story.
What do you mean, more dough?
There's a nervous bunch at the Capitol. They're afraid of public sentiment in view of the fact that the Hornet seems to be running your business for you.
That's ridiculous. Preposterous. The Green Hornet has no part in my business.
I know that, Farnsworth, but just the same, the boys need half again as much cash to swing the committee. You better get busy on the phone and raise it.
Who are you? Where are you calling
I
from?
can't say anymore now. Someone coming.
Hello.
Oh, what's the matter, boss?
I wish I knew who phoned. Someone said we had to raise more cash because of that story in the Sentinel.
Yeah?
I was afraid of something of that sort. Gopher, go and call on Meekin. Tell him to get the boys lined up and be ready for another contribution.
He ain't gonna like that so well, boss.
Tell him it can't be helped. We've already sunk plenty of cash in fighting the Brannigan bill. We've got to protect our investment. Now get going.
Gopher Gables hurried from Farnsworth's apartment, while Britt Reed, a short distance away, made a long-distance call from a drugstore phone booth. In fact, he made several of them.
Hello, is this Senator Jones?
I am Senator Jones.
You better get yourself a copy of the Sentinel and see what it has to say about the Green Hornet and the Brannigan bill.
I've read it. Why?
If you'll check with Smitty and Lynch and a couple of the others, you'll find that there's going to be extra cash for you in view of what the Hornet's done.
Who's calling?
Listen, Jones, I'll let you know who I am sometime when I want a favor, see? Meanwhile, just get smart and hold out for about half again as much as you've been promised.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's all right, Jones. I wouldn't expect you to say anything else over the phone. Just take a tip, though, and if you don't believe me, call Farnsworth. He's at home right now. Just tell Farnsworth that you don't like the way things are shaping up. If you don't want to call Farnsworth, speak to one of the boys up there who's representing him. Get the idea?
Senator Jones received this anonymous call in a hotel room where he had been playing cards with some friends.
I wish you'd tell me who you are.
Goodbye, Senator.
Sounded curious.
What is it, Senator Jones?
Advice from some anonymous party.
We don't need advice.
He stated that we should request additional recompense in view of the unfavorable publicity in this evening's edition of the Daily Sentinel.
I didn't like that story. Puts us on a spot where it'll be hard to table the Brannigan bill for this session.
I am fully aware of that.
Who are you telephoning?
Our friend, the lobbyist.
And then a short time later that evening, Farnsworth had a second call, this time from his representative at the state capitol. But while this call was being received, there were unseen witnesses. The Green Hornet and Cato, both wearing the familiar masks, were just outside an open window.
Yes, I know. I've already made the necessary arrangements. I'll raise more cash for those chiselers. I don't know when I'll have it. I'll let you know. And very well. Goodbye.
Hey, boss, I seen the boys.
Well?
They'll raise the dough.
When?
It ought to be on hand before the night is out. They'll contact you soon after midnight. They got to round up the guys that are out night clubbing.
The sooner the better. That cash should be in the hands of the boys at the Capitol in the morning.
Why we got to work so fast?
The committee has to report on that, Bill. They'll have to hand in their report by the day after tomorrow at the latest, or it won't be passed at this meeting.
Ain't that what you want?
Of course it is. But if we don't raise the cash, then they will turn in the favorable report. And the thing will be railroaded through by the birds that want to close the session and get started on their summer vacations.
Yeah, I see.
The pressure of the newspapers will make them pass the thing unless we raise the cash to block it. Did you contact everyone?
Sure thing. Don't worry, boss. The dough will be here all right enough. You can get it to the Capitol in the morning with no trouble at all.
Very well. All we can do now is sit tight and wait.
Come on, Cato. While he's waiting for that cash to arrive, we'll make one more telephone call.
Yes, Mr. Bannister. Aren't you going to go after the man?
Not just yet, Cato. That's all I wanted to see for the time being. That room, the desk, the inkwell. We'll probably use them all before the night's over.
Who you call now?
I'm going to try to reach Ed Lowry.
Will he be at the office?
No, and he won't be at home. I'll probably locate him in one of his favorite hangouts.
Hey, Larry. Phone call for you.
Tell him I'm in conference.
Tell him yourself. It's your boss.
Gunnigan?
Mr. Reed.
Well, why didn't you say so in the first place? Holy cats, what's he want? It's almost midnight. Yeah, boss, this is Lowry.
Ed, remember there's nothing to this at all, but on the other hand, it's worth following up.
What's that, boss?
I happened to be in a nightclub when Gopher Gables came in.
Gables? He's Farnsworth's stooge.
That's right. He cornered Sutcliffe there and heard something said about raising more cash in a hurry and getting it to Farnsworth tonight.
More cash? That means the lobbyists need more. Wouldn't you say so?
Yeah, I'm glad you agree with me. It might be a story if you get to Farnsworth's apartment and sort of hang around and watch.
It's worth a try, boss. I'll hop right over there. Thanks for the tip-off. Put what I owe you on the cuff, Gus. I'll probably be back before you close.
Where to, Lowry? You got a story?
Private business, boys. Private business.
Ed Lowry parked his car near the Farnsworth apartment. He watched for quite some time. He saw a couple of men enter and leave the place. Then, after waiting a few moments longer, he approached and rapped on the door.
Hello, Gopher.
Lowry.
Mind if I step in? How are you tonight, Farnsworth?
What do you want here, Lowry?
Just stopped in for a chat. Hey, what's all that dough?
None of your business. Now beat it. We're busy.
You came for something, Lowry? What is it? Speak up.
I hear you're raising more cash to fight the Brannigan bill.
Where did you hear that?
Is that what the sugar is for?
Tain't none of your business. Now scram, Lowry. Can't you see that you ain't... Hey, what the...
What's the matter with the lights?
Tricks, hey, Farnsworth?
Turn on that table, lamp. Stand where you are.
Who are you?
You'll find out after I'm gone.
Where's he at? Let me drill him. Get to the floor, boss. I'm shooting.
No, you're not. Don't shoot, Gopher. Don't shoot.
What? I can't breathe.
He went out the door.
Find one of the lamps. Confound it all. Get some light in here.
There's the light.
Who turned them on again?
How the devil do I know? Look at Gopher.
What's happened to you? Get up, Gopher. Get up.
Out cold. And look at the desk. The dough is gone.
The money. Get after him. Get after him, Lowry.
Chase him yourself. It was your dough. He spilled the inkstand. Look at here. He must have got his hands in the ink. It's smeared all over the doorknob.
What's been done to Gopher? Is he dead?
Hold on, Farnsworth. Get a load of this.
But Gable.
He'll be all right. He just took a snootful of gas, that's all. The bird who came here to get that dough was the Green Hornet.
What?
There's a signature. That stamp he left on your desk.
The Green Hornet.
Now there's a story for the Sentinel.
The next morning, in the Sentinel office...
I wanted your story handled in a very specific manner, Lowry.
But we should smear it on page 1, boss. A big banner.
No, it's too late for that. There have already been a couple of editions.
Oh.
Doesn't it seem logical in view of what we've seen before that the Green Hornet is the leader of the gambling ring?
Yeah, but he robbed Farnsworth.
How do you know?
Wasn't I there?
But how do you know he robbed him? Perhaps the mere fact that you were there made it necessary for the Hornet to make it appear to be a robbery.
Huh?
That would give him the cash you'll have to spend for the committee's vote. And do it in such a way that Farnsworth can't be tied up with it.
Boss, maybe you've got something there.
Of course, the Hornet may have taken the cash for himself. But it's my impression that he took it to pass on to the members of the committee. Ain't too bad that can't be proved.
Well, if we could just prove that those birds took bribes.
Or prove that the Hornet's in league with a gambling ring. It's too bad there isn't some way to identify that money. But that's, of course, out of the question.
Yeah, there's no way to prove that the same dough that was taken from Farnsworth is given to Jones and Smitty and the rest of the grafters.
If you'd only known this sort of thing would happen, you might have marked the bills in some way.
Marked bills, yeah, but, well, I wouldn't have had a chance, boss. I only...
Hey! What's the matter?
Hey, boss! I just thought of something.
What are you talking about, Lowry?
Maybe those bills were marked.
What do you mean?
Look, the bills were on the desk, like this, see?
Yeah?
There was an inkstand here, like this. Well, the Hornet bumps the desk or something in the dark. I heard him. Then we find the ink's all spilled when the dough is gone. It's all over the desk, and there's some on the doorknob. Get it?
Yeah, perhaps the bills are smeared with ink.
That's just it.
But, Lowry, that wouldn't prove anything.
Sure it would, boss. The ink could be tested. Get ink from Farnsworth's desk. Analyze it, compare it with that on the bills. Boy, if we could only get to the Capitol in time to see those bills in the possession of the grafters on the Brannigan Bill Committee.
Well, what are you waiting for? You won't get there by standing here.
I'm on my way.
I'll do what I can from this end.
Hey, what the...
Take wait till you see what I'm bringing back, I hope.
Miss Benny, get the district attorney. I want him to do whatever is necessary to get a sample of the ink from Farnsworth's office, just in case Lowry can come through.
It's a long shot, boss, but I'm playing it.
While Lowry raced for the state capitol in a fast car with necessary officials and credentials, the committee members were in recess in the halls. Farnsworth himself was there, speaking to one of the committee.
I came here personally, Jones, to explain
Farnsworth, it's bad for you and me to be seen.
Skip that, Jones. I had the dough already, but the Hornet stole it. Now, just do what we want, and you'll get what was promised.
Not so loud.
It's okay, Jones.
What is?
Oh, hello, Farnsworth.
Where's Smith?
Coming.
What did you say?
Everything's okay. We're going to hold that bill back.
That's the stuff.
Fellow over there wants to see you, Jones.
Who?
Friend of yours. Thanks for everything, Farnsworth.
I was just explaining the dough was stolen by the Hornet, and
What
I was...
dough?
What dough do you suppose? What I had for you boys.
But we got it.
What?
Yes, your man had it.
But where did he get it?
I'm not used to asking where cash comes from.
I want to find out about this. Come on with me.
We'll have to hurry. The meeting is going to resume, and I want to talk to some of the
Boys, there's Farnsworth. Yeah. Smith and Jones with them. They stand ready. They're passing out something that might be money. Come on, let's go see. Hey, Senator, just a minute.
Yes?
Hold it. Shoot the picture.
Got it. Oh, reporters, eh?
Yeah, snapping pictures of you and Farnsworth and one of the gambling ring's representatives. What's in that envelope?
None of your business.
See here, Lowry, you...
So the Hornet took the cash from you to pay these guys off, then sent it here to your lobbyist.
That's ridiculous.
Okay, it's ridiculous then, but what's in that envelope?
None of your business.
Don't talk too much, Farnsworth. You may be facing a rap for bribery. That dough you had last night was marked.
The Green Hornet stole it.
Sure, stole it. Maybe because you planned it that way.
The money is marked.
What?
What are you talking about?
What are you trying to pull on us, Farnsworth?
Gave you marked money, so you're all discredited. That means your report won't be taken. It means the Brannigan bill will be buried because Farnsworth framed you into taking marked money.
That's a lie. I did nothing of the
Try and
kind.
explain what that cash is for. Look at the ink on it. That ink came from Farnsworth's desk. That can be proved. Furthermore, it can be proved that Farnsworth collected that cash last night from other members of the bookmaking ring.
I won't touch the money.
I didn't know there was money in this envelope. I was simply told that it was...
Sure, Jones. You just thought someone was sending you a Christmas card. Take Farnsworth and his pals in, boys.
You can't touch me. I have a right.
We already got the warrant charging you with bribery. I guess that cash will make it stick. And if that doesn't, then by thunder, Farnsworth, they'll hold you plenty long because of your connection with the Green Hornet.
I have no such connection.
Then how come the dough the Hornet got from you is passed out by your men today?
You can't charge me with taking a bribe.
We won't need to place charges against you three crooks. Just resign. That's all you've got to do. You never belonged in the legislature in the first place. Go on back to your $25 a week job.
This is a frame-up. This is a frame-up.
It's just what's needed, Farnsworth. The Brannigan bill buried and the gambling ring smashed. There's news my boss will love to see in print.
Sentinel Piper! Hornet allied with gambling ring! Bribery charges filed! Racing bill buried during roundup of bookies! Read all about it! Green Hornet still in ours! Sentinel X-Street Piper!
story you have just heard is a copyrighted feature of the Green Hornet, Incorporated.
That was The Green Hornet with Money Talks Too Loud, as originally heard June 20th, 1939. And that wraps up hour number 1. But stick around, there's comedy and mystery in hour number 2 when we come back with more from Classic Radio Rewind right after these messages. Welcome back to hour number 2 of Classic Radio Rewind, and coming up next up to kick off this second hour is a trip to 79, Wistful Vista, and Fibber McGee and Molle. In this episode, Fibber gets frustrated while trying to put up the porch swing using borrowed tools that everyone wants back. From June 13th, 1944, it's the Fibber McGee and Molle Show with Putting Up a Porch Swing.
The Johnson Wax Program with Fibber McGee and Molle. The makers of Johnson's Wax for home and industry present Fibber McGee and Molle, written by Don Quinn, with music by the King's Men and Billy Mills Orchestra. Those of you who were listening to this program about a month ago may remember my asking our listeners a question. What I said was this: have you ever been dissatisfied with Johnson's self-polishing glow coat? Now, some folks might say that I was just naturally courting trouble to ask such a question. But here's what happened. In spite of the difficulties of controlling raw materials and containers this past year, exactly 315 people wrote us that they had had an unsatisfactory experience with glow coat. We were happy to make things right for these customers. But we were also happy to know that out of the millions of people who have bought glow coat during this period, the many millions who listened to Fibber McGee and Molle, only 315 reported that they had not had good results. This seems to me to indicate that Johnson's glow coat has given satisfaction in its wartime job of protecting linoleum surfaces. The aim of the Johnson Company is, of course, to make every single package perfect. So if at any time you are dissatisfied with glow coat or any other Johnson's Wax product, remember that we want to hear from you. Just write S.C. Johnson & Son Incorporated, Racine, Wisconsin, or Brantford, Canada. Did you ever watch an amateur carpenter trying to put a new blade in a hacksaw? And just as he got it properly tightened up, it went... Well, here he is, trying it again with another blade, as we meet Fibber McGee and Molle.
Fine bunch of hacksaw blades. I could get better iron than this out of a can of spinach. Now, let me see. One more twist. Dead-ratted thing anyway. They must make these things out of peanut brittle.
What are you doing, McGee?
I'm getting ready to put up the porch swing.
What are you doing with the meat saw?
This, my dear uninformed woman, is not the meat saw. This is a hacksaw.
Oh. Well, if you have a friend in jail or something, I'll be glad to bake a cake around it, and you can... What are you doing with it?
I'm putting a new blade into it. Blades keep busting. I've been tightening them very gently like this, and every time I... See what I mean? That makes 4 of them I've broken.
Well, why don't you leave them looser?
Won't cut anything if they're loose. I'll show you what I mean. Hand me another blade.
All right. Here you are.
Thanks. Now, let me see. One gentle twist. 2 gentle twists. 3 gentle twists. Ah, there. I guess I was just a little too...
Now, McGee, don't say it.
Ah, the death.
Why do you need the hacksaw anyway?
I'm putting up the porch swing.
Why do you need a hacksaw?
Because a hacksaw is... I need it. It's for the... It's... My gosh, I guess I don't need it.
Well, fine.
Boy, is that a relief. I might have spent the whole day putting in new hacksaw blades.
Sure.
Now I can go to work. Hey, are my eyes going bad, or is that Sig Wellington coming up the walk?
That's Mr. Wellington, all right. Wearing a Panama hat that must have been woven underwater and taken out wet because... hello there, Mr. Wellington.
Ah, there, Mrs. McGee. How you do brighten my day. And McGee, tarnished again.
Hello, Sigmund. Sit down on the top step and let's talk about inconsequential things. How have you been?
That's the first pair of spats I've seen for a long time, Mr. Wellington. Is this a formal call?
Oh, no. I was going to stop in at the bank on my way back about a small loan, and I was afraid I'd get cold feet.
Beautiful Panama hat, too, Sig. Weave it yourself?
No, it's merely one of a large collection of hats I own. Mm-hmm. One of the advantages of being a theater owner is the lost and found department, you know. You must let me show it to you sometime. All but the purses, which I keep locked up.
Oh, too valuable, I imagine.
No, I just don't like to see those bags under my eyes all the time.
I suppose you hide the umbrellas, too, because they remind you of the overhead.
That's very amusing. But what, may I ask, are you constructing with this vast array of mechanical impedimenta, my friend?
He's putting up the porch swing, Mr. Wellington.
You can stick around and give me a hand if you want to, Sig.
No, thank you, my friend. The last time you did some repair work, I gave you a hand. In fact, I gave you my all. In fact, that is my all right there. I've been looking all over for it.
Hey, wait, what are you... Oh, well, take it then, Indian giver.
How splendid to have it back again. It isn't a pleasant thing at my age to feel that one has lost his punch. Well, good day, old chap, and Mrs. McGee, au revoir until next
week.
Yes, but the thought of seeing you again gives me strength.
My, isn't he charming, McGee?
Yeah, more personality than an onion sandwich. I'd like to buy him for what I think of him and sell him for what he thinks of himself. Did you see him go away with half my tools?
Now, don't exaggerate, McGee. He only took that little awl and he had a perfect right to it. He loaned it to you a year ago.
That's beside the point. He knows I got to put up this porch swing and deliberately ran off with a very useful tool.
What would you need an awl for?
I need an awl for the... In case I have to... It'd make it... I always... You could... It might... Well, I guess I don't need it at that.
Of course not. Well, I've got to go see about dinner, dearie, and if you need any help, you just call for me.
Okay. Ah, there goes a good kid. She knows when it comes to carpentering, I don't know my neck from a folding ruler. But does she ever criticize? Yes. But does she mean it? Certainly she means it. That's why she does it. She's a...
Hi, mister.
Huh? Oh, hi, Teeny.
Hi. Hey, what you doing, mister? What you doing?
Well, I'm...
What you,
I'm putting up the porch swing.
Putting up a what, mister?
Porch swing. Don't you know what a porch swing is?
Sure I do, I betcha. We got one at our house.
Oh, you got a porch swing? Eh?
What'd you say, mister?
I says you got a porch swing.
Gee, how'd you know? Who told you?
I was walking by one night and it squealed.
Oh.
Look, sis, I'm a very busy man. Very busy. I got to put the porch swing up.
Oh? You got everything you need, mister?
Yes, I have. Now, if you'll just get out of my way and I'll stand...
Sure. Are you sure you got everything?
Certainly I'm sure. Let me see. Hammer, screwdriver, hacksaw, bracing bit. Yes, I have.
Oh, I bet you haven't, I bet you.
Well, I'll bet you any amount of money you want to bet up to 10 cents that I got everything here I need to put up the swing.
Let me see the dough, mister.
Okay. There you are. Thin dime. Now, what do I need to put up the porch swing that I haven't got?
The porch swing.
Oh, my gosh, I forgot to bring out the porch swing.
Sure you did.
Billy Mills in the orchestra and Besame Mucho.
My goodness, this swing did need some fixing, didn't it?
Yeah, but it'll be okay. I put new slats in all across the back, tightened up the arms.
Well, it looks pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Where'd you get such nice slats for the back, dearie?
Out of the front fence.
The front fence?
Mm-hmm.
McGee, you mean those are pickets?
Now, don't worry. I took them out so as it don't show. I took out every other picket, see, and the fence looks like it's supposed to be that way. You walk past it fast and you don't notice a thing.
Hello, Mrs. McGee. Hi, Mr. McGee.
Hello, Alice, dear.
Hi, Al. Sit down and watch me put up the porch swing.
Oh, thanks. We had a porch swing at home, and the boys liked it so well that I didn't get to see a movie for 3 summers.
That's all.
And my father finally had to remodel the house and tear out the front porch so I'd get a chance to go out at night.
Well, it's a great place to get a boy to propose, Alice.
Yeah.
In fact, that's how I snagged Mr. McGee in our porch swing, wasn't it, dearie?
Yeah, that wasn't the only time I got snagged in that swing either. Talk about nails. Right now, I got 32 more pores than the average human body. Hey, Alice, there's a note on the table for you from a guy named Ricky.
Oh, him.
Isn't he the boy you were out with last night, dear? The Marine?
I think he's a Marine merchant.
No. Yeah. You mean merchant marine, don't you, Alice?
No, Marine merchant. Creepers. What a salesman.
I catch on to it.
Well, I'm going up to bed now, Mrs. McGee.
All right, dear. If anyone else calls, we'll take the message.
Oh, thank you. So long now. Oh, Mr. McGee.
Yeah?
I hate to ask this, but, well, would you do me a favor?
Why, sure, Alice. What's on your mind?
Well, if you don't mind, could I have those pliers back that I loaned you to fix the Christmas tree stand with?
Pliers?
Uh-huh.
I don't believe I have any pliers with your name on them, Alice. I got some here that belong to some guy named Davis, but I don't know who
Al Davis, that's the one.
Oh.
He's a fellow at the airplane plant that he and I used to go together, but we quit, and now he wants all his tools back.
Oh, heavenly days. Of course you can have them, Alice. Here. McGee can always borrow them back in a pinch.
Oh, gee, thanks, Mrs. McGee. I'll see you later.
Well, there we go again. No pliers. How do you suppose I can put up the porch swing with everybody snaking my tools away one at a time? My gosh, a fella tries to do some work and...
What'd you need the pliers for?
To put up the porch swing, doggone it.
But why the pliers?
Because the pliers, I could use them. Well, the swing, if they'd... Say, I guess I didn't need the pliers at that. Oh, well, I can finish putting these slats in anyway.
Oh, my, that porch swing has really seen service, hasn't it, dearie?
Yeah, I'll say it has. Remember when Fred Nittany come to visit us right after the war?
Yes.
And we'd sit in this swing all day long and remorse about our different adventures?
You don't mean remorse, dear. You mean reminisce.
I don't mean any such a thing. Reminisce is when you forget to do something. Like I was reminiscing paying the gas bill this month.
Now that's remiss.
Are you kidding who? Remiss is when you take 2 shots at something and don't hit it either time. You miss and then you remiss.
Oh.
You're thinking of remit.
No, Pat. Remit means to pay, and you didn't.
Well, then what does remorse mean?
It means you're sorry for something.
And I am, too. I'm sorry old Fred Nittany can't drop in again one of these days and remorse about our different adventures.
Oh, hello, Mr. Wilcox.
Hiya, Molle. Hiya, pal.
Hi, Junior. Hunker down on the top step there and watch a real carpenter carping.
What are you doing, friend?
Well, he's putting up the porch swing, Mr. Wilcox, and he always gets into one of his masterful moods when he takes his hammer in hand.
His hammer?
Yes, my hammer. What's the matter? Your ears need glasses?
I just wanted to point out the name burned into the handle of the hammer, sonny boy. See? H-W-I-L-C-O-X.
Why, so they are, McGee. Did you borrow that from Mr. Wilcox?
My gosh, I guess I did. Well, what do you know? It's a small world, isn't it, Junior? Yeah, you can't even lose a hammer in it. This is your hammer, isn't it?
Well, you know me, pal. I hate to make positive statements, but...
Yes, I know.
Get him, will you? Hates to make a positive statement. What's that stuff you toss around every week about Johnson's wax? Just vague hints?
Well, that's different.
Why, Mr. Wilcox?
Oh, Molly, please. Asking him why at a time like this is like throwing a stick for a pup to chase. He's going to have his muddy paws in our lap now for the next 5 minutes.
Well, what I mean is I don't mind making a positive statement about a product like Johnson's wax when its ability to bring new life and beauty to floors and furniture and woodwork has been so well demonstrated. On the other hand, my first initial and last name on the hammer handle might be a coincidence. Circumstantial evidence. It isn't legally conclusive.
You're the only H. Wilcox we know, Mr. Wilcox.
I knew a Herman Wilcox once. He was a fellow.
You see, some things are so well established they don't need any supporting evidence.
This Herman Wilcox I knew had a hammer, too.
Conversely, the fact that my name is on a hammer handle would not necessarily convince a jury of my property rights.
Hickory hammer handle, too, Herman had.
Say, if I could only ask a lawyer about that, I could soon get that point settled.
There's a lawyer lives the third house down, Junior. Old Joe Habeas.
Gee, really? I'll run over and ask him. Here, let me take that hammer, pal. This is a fascinating legal technicality, and I've often wondered what would happen.
Well, now, how do you like that? Practically snatching a guy's hammer out from under his very eyes. If that isn't
What do you need the hammer for now?
My gosh, the hammer's that's what I was... The hooks, if a nail's... Or when you... Come to think of it, I guess I was through with the hammer at that.
Haven't you any tools of your own, dearie?
Certainly I got tools of my own. Practically everything here is mine. That broken ice pick, that plumb bob, that piece of copper wire.
Who owns the steel tape and the brace and bit?
Doc Gamble. But that piece of rope is mine, and that spool that had the tire tape on it, that's mine. So is the...
Whose screwdriver is that?
Doc Gamble's. But who do you suppose owns that nail file? I do. And that handful of thumbtacks? I do.
Whose hacksaw is that?
Doc Gamble's. But he never had...
Pardon my long ears, but did I hear my name mentioned?
Oh, hello, Doctor. Come on up on the porch.
You ever hear the old saying, Doc? Eavesdroppers never hear anything good about themselves?
Allowing for your lousy grammar, Smudge Pot, yes, I have. And I wasn't eavesdropping. Anybody who would eavesdrop on your conversation would be stupid enough to look in the back of a telephone book to see how it came out. What's he think he's doing, Molly?
He's putting up the porch swing, Doctor, and please don't make any derogatory remarks. He's very easily discouraged at manual labor.
Well, I wasn't going to be unkind. I think it's wonderful. Get a little of that tallow away from his belt buckle.
Look who's talking about a tallow tummy. You got a bay window that the Dion family could watch a parade from. You look like you had been ringed 5 times in a horseshoe game and put your shirt on over it.
Well, I'm the professional type, my boy. My occupation is sedentary.
Well, why don't you hire a sedentary, you cheapskate? Afraid she'd steal your 9 cents worth of postage stamps?
No, he didn't say secretary, dearie. He said sedentary, meaning that he sits down a lot.
Exactly.
What do you mean, exactly? He couldn't sit down anywhere exactly if his life was at stake. He comes in on a wing and a chair.
That's not bad, McGee. Not bad. It's not very good either, come to think. Incidentally, McGee, where did you get this brace and bit? My best brace and bit.
Why, he borrowed it from you, Dr. Gamble, didn't you, dearie?
It's mine, all right, but he didn't borrow it from me, Molly. Where'd you get it, you little August snatcher?
Well, for your information, you big sausage, I went over to your house one day, and you were out, and it looked like rain, and here was your best brace and bit out in the backyard.
In the backyard? Don't give me that stuff, McGee. I keep my tools in the garage.
Well, where's your garage, stupid? In the backyard, that's where.
McGee.
And not only that, but the garage was unlocked, and if I hadn't brought the brace and bit home with me, somebody might have walked in and stole it.
Oh, yeah? Well, I never leave that garage unlocked, McGee, you little tool thief, and you know that, too.
Well, it might as well be unlocked with that broken catch on the back window. My gosh, anybody could pile boxes up there and get in, just as easy as I did.
Now, McGee.
Well, if that's the kind of gratitude I'm going to get for saving your tools for you, you big... Hey, give me a hand with this swing, will you? Doc, old kid?
Sure, McGee. Ready to put up?
Yeah. Come on in the house and let's get the chains for it. Yeah. I keep them put away so they don't get rusted.
All right. Where are they?
Right there in the hall closet, Doc. Just open the door and...
This door?
Oh! Yeah, that's the door.
King's Men sing She Broke My Heart in 3 places.
She was like a blushing rose that trembled at my touch. We traded sigh for sigh. Later on I realized I loved her much too much. Now you'll see what finally transpired. She broke my heart in 3 places: Seattle, Chicago, and New York. She led me on those wild goose chases, but brother, I trailed her like a hawk. It started in the moonlight. We drifted on a lake. Down on my knees I whispered, please give my heart a break. So she broke my heart in 3 places: Seattle, Chicago, and New York. She broke my heart in 4 places: Toledo, Albuquerque, Minneapolis, and St. Paul. She broke my heart in 5 places: in Omaha, Nebraska, Terre Haute, Nome, Alaska, Chattanooga, and Montreal. It started in Savannah, we landed in Salt Lake, and there I cried my heart out. Oh, give me just one break. So she broke my heart in 10 places: Helena, Pasadena, Boise, Idaho, and Buffalo, Detroit, and Bowling Green. Pay attention while I mention Racine, Wisconsin, through the courtesy of S.C. Johnson, Seattle, Chicago, and New York.
Ah, there you are, Molly. Porch swing is up.
And may I be the first to congratulate you, dearie. You followed through like a rabbit hound in a hollow log. Why, it even hangs level.
Hangs level? Isn't it supposed to hang level?
Well, after you're married, yes.
Huh?
But you know, a smart single girl will always have a porch swing that helps people get together at one end of it.
Hey, yours was always lopsided, come to think of it. The one on your porch in Peoria.
Yes.
Well, I'll be... You tricked me.
You tricked me, too.
How did I?
I always used to think you were so neat, the way you could tie a bow tie so nicely.
Huh?
And then 6 months after we were married, one of them fell off, and I discovered they were tied at the factory. I cried all night.
Well, I don't know why. You might have married a guy who wore factory-tied 4-in-hands. Hey, look how easy the swing swings.
Yeah. Needs a little oil.
We got any?
I think there's some in my sewing machine. I'll ask Beulah. Oh, Beulah? Beulah?
Somebody out here yipping for Beulah?
We got any lubricating oil, Beulah?
Says we got which?
Lubricating oil, Beulah. The kind you squirt at things that squeak. Isn't there a little can of it in my sewing machine?
No, ma'am, there ain't a drop left in there. I used the last of it in the vacuum.
In the what?
The vacuum cleaner. Oh, you know, the carpet sweeper with the sound effect.
Well, remind me to get some tomorrow, McGee. We want it for this porch swing, Beulah. It squeaks.
Well, for goodness sake, ma'am, let it squeak. Ain't nothing more homelike than a squeaking porch swing. Saved my papa's life once.
What did, Beulah?
A squeaking porch swing. Yes, it did. My papa always smoked cigars and was always falling asleep.
Oh.
One night he rocked himself in the porch swing, a puffing and a rocking, and a rocking and a puffing and a rocking and a squeaking and a puffing. And all of a sudden he fell sound asleep.
Well, what saved his life?
Well, ma'am, the minute he fall asleep, the swing stopped a rocking and the squeak stopped a squeaking. Papa jump up and holler, "What's that?" On account he don't hear no more squeak no more. He wake up just in time to stomp out a fire in his shirt front.
Stomp out a fire in his shirt front? What was he, a contortionist?
No, sir. He stamp it out with his bare hands.
Oh, I see.
Anyway, that's why I don't mind no squeaking, no post swing.
Well, maybe we better leave this one, McGee. You're always doing the same thing, you know.
Okay, forget the oil. Might have my own life saved by a narrow squeak.
Have his own life saved by a squeak, mister. Love that man.
Forget the squeak, dearie. Mm-hmm. I hadn't considered it in the light of a fire alarm. Come on, let's sit in the swing a while.
Okay. Personally, I don't mind the squeak. It's cheerful. And the mosquitoes love it.
Why?
A squeak in the porch swing is like a moose call to a mosquito.
It is?
Yeah, he goes and rounds up all his friends and says, "Come on, fellas, over to McGee's. There's somebody in the porch swing."
Oh, isn't this peaceful, dearie? Just to sit here and relax.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that a lonesome sound?
Yeah.
Nowadays, whenever I hear a train whistle, I think of all the boys that are over there. And McGee, did you remember to write a check for that extra war bond tomorrow?
All wrote out and on the hall table with my hat. Getting it the first thing in the morning. Wish I could get a bigger one, but I'm straining the budget as it is.
Oh, bother the budget. We'd better come out short at the end of the month than at the end of the war.
Yeah, guess that's right.
Like old times, isn't it? Huh?
Sure is. Oh, hey, I almost forgot. Reach under your end of the swing.
What on earth is... Oh, for heaven's sake.
Let me take it.
Here.
Thanks. Oh, gee. My old mandolin. Oh, the moon shines tonight on the breeze is sighing. The night...
From a naval air station, we just received a letter which is so much to the point, I want to read it to you word for word. It's from a young officer who writes as follows. Dear folks, what's become of Carnew? I was all over this blamed town yesterday looking for it, only to find everything else but. I didn't know auto polish was scarce, too. I'm tired enough now from using something else to write and find out if the darn stuff is off the market. How about it? Well, sir, the answer to what's become of Carnew is simple. It's going strong, and we're doing our best to supply the demand and fill all orders. It's quite apparent that car owners, more than ever before, appreciate the job performed by Johnson's Carnew. They use it because it both cleans and polishes a car with one application, makes the finish shine like a mirror with a minimum of work. You know it's more fun to drive a car that's clean and sparkling. What you may not know is that if you don't remove that grime and dirt, it may injure the finish of your car permanently. Will you remember to buy a package of Johnson's Carnew, spelled C-A-R-N-U?
Well, now that you got the porch swing up, McGee, and are in the mood for carpentry, you can put the screen doors on tomorrow.
Oh, I can't tomorrow. Make it Friday or Saturday.
Why not tomorrow?
No tools. Take me 2 or 3 days to round them all up again.
Oh.
Yeah. Good night.
Good night, all.
The character of Mr. Wellington heard on this program was played by Ransom Sherman. This is Harlow Wilcox, speaking for the makers of Johnson's Wax for Home and Industry, inviting you all to be with us again next Tuesday night. Good night.
This is the National Broadcasting Company.
That was the Fibber McGee and Molle Show with Putting Up a Porch Swing, as originally heard June 13th, 1944. Now, for our final episode of this week's podcast, this next episode from the Molle Mystery Theater asks the question, want to pull off the perfect crime? The answer is simple. Master the art of being in 2 places at once. From March 22nd, 1946, this is the Molle Mystery Theater in Alibi for Murder.
And now, the Molle Mystery Theater, presented by M-O-L-L-E. Molle, the heavier brushless shaving cream for tender skins.
Good evening. This is Jeffrey Barnes, welcoming you to the program that presents the best in mystery and detective fiction. Tonight's story is a hard-boiled gangster tale written by Martin Ryerson and entitled Alibi for Murder. It's about a very ordinary young man named Dave Whitman who was destined from birth to be involved in 2 gangland killings. Yes, destined from birth. Puzzling? Perhaps it'll all be quite clear when you meet gangster Steve Yeager.
Before you begin your story, Mr. Barnes, here's some good advice for men. If you have a wiry, hard-to-cut beard or a tender skin, and that morning shave of yours is just short of murder, then shave with Molle, the heavier brushless shaving cream. Yes, sir, man. It's smooth. So smooth. It's slick. So slick. It's a smooth, slick shave you get with M-O-L-L-E. Molle, the heavier brushless cream for tender skins. That's right. Molle is a heavier cream, the kind of cream you need if you have wiry whiskers or a tender skin. Because Molle is heavier, it not only softens your whiskers, it stands them up straighter and makes them easy to cut. So you shave faster, closer, easier, and you shave painlessly with Molle, the heavier brushless cream for tender skins. Molle. And now here is Jeffrey Barnes with tonight's Molle mystery, Alibi for Murder.
3 men stand in the windowless, ill-lighted little room in the huge warehouse. They're staring in awe at the unconscious man sprawled out on the rickety cot before them. Finally, one of the men speaks.
It's unbelievable, Steve. I read about things like this, but I never expected to see it actually happen.
How bad's he hurt, Doc?
1 bullet grazed the back of his head. It's the slug buried in his shoulder might cause trouble. He should go to a hospital.
Hospital, nothing. You do this job yourself at my place.
But, Steve, it's dangerous. He could die.
But he ain't gonna die. You're gonna make sure he don't.
Okay, Steve, you're the big boss. You know I never argue with you.
Pop.
Yeah. Yes, Mr. Yeager?
You're sure nobody knows about him except you?
Well, it happened just like I told you, Mr. Yeager. I heard the shots while I was making my nice rounds of the warehouse. I ran outside, and there he was, laying in a heap on the sidewalk. And the car that the shots came from, beating it away in the darkness. At first, I thought this was you, Mr. Yeager.
Oh, you did, huh? You didn't catch the plates in the car, did you?
No, it was too dark, Mr. Yeager.
Okay, Pop, thanks a lot for calling me. I won't forget it. Just keep it under your scalp.
Oh, don't worry, Mr. Yeager. I won't say a word.
I'm sure you won't. Better get back in your rounds now, Pop. I don't want to hold you up and make you late.
Okay, Mr. Yeager. You're very considerate. Good night. Oh!
Steve, you shot him in the back.
What's that gag about dead men keeping their mouths shut, Doc? Okay, bust things up, make it look like a robbery. Then let's get this Joe over to my apartment.
He's coming out of it, Steve.
I want to see what he does when he lamps me for the first time.
He's lifting his head off the pillow, looking around. He sees you.
I wondered did I look as surprised when I first saw him.
He can't figure it out, Steve. Guess he thinks he's looking in the mirror.
It's okay, pal. You ain't seeing things. It's us. 2 of us.
2 of us?
That's right. This is me, and that's you. You and me. They made one of us first and forgot to throw away the mold.
It's unbelievable.
You're almost identical twins. Same height, same weight, same faces, same coloring.
What's your name, pal?
Whitman, Dave Whitman.
We found you in front of the warehouse down by the river. You had a nasty hunk of lead in your shoulder. Doc here had a rough time fishing it out.
You a doctor?
Yeah, this here is Doc Kinsella. I'm Steve Yeager. You're going to see a lot of us.
I don't understand what you mean, Mr. Yeager.
Never mind. You, got many friends in town, Whitman?
No, I just arrived here tonight on a freight.
Riding the rails, huh? A hobo?
No, just out of a job. That's what I had hoped to find here. I figured I'd find me a flop down by the river in that big building.
My warehouse.
Oh, it is?
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway, all of a sudden a car comes racing around the corner and lets me have it.
Only that little lead party wasn't meant for you. That was a surprise cooked up for yours truly.
You, Mr. Yeager?
Yeah. Friends of mine. They took you for me. Then they bust in and murdered a watchman.
But I don't get it.
Forget it. So you're looking for work, huh?
Yeah, any kind of work.
Well, what would you say to a job with me?
In your warehouse?
No, not exactly. This'll earn you a lot bigger piece of change than working down there.
I don't know what that slug did to my brain, but if this is how it feels to be crazy, brother, I want to stay that way.
Yeah, I think you and me are going to get along okay, Whitman. Now, see if you can grab some sleep. Come on, Doc. Lock the door.
Why? He can't.
Lock the door.
Why, Steve?
I don't want anybody to know I got me a spitting image. Sit down, Doc.
Steve, what exactly do you want with Whitman?
I want him so I can be in two places at once. There's a few things I've been wanting to attend to for a long time, Doc. Only I needed an alibi.
I don't follow you, Steve.
It should be simple for a guy with a brain big enough to earn him an MD.
If I had a big brain, Steve, I'd never allowed myself to be handed my walking papers by the medical association.
All right, skip it. Now, look. I don't like the kind of competition that's crawled into this town.
You mean Goldie Mize?
For one, Slapsy Higgins, number two.
Whose gunman do you think it was the other night?
Slapsy's. He goes in for that strong-arm stuff. Goldie's too wise for that stuff.
I know, Steve. I heard Goldie's lining up with a lot of tin-horn politicians in town. Guys who can do you lots of harm.
Which means that Goldie and Slapsy got to be discouraged, but quick. And Whitman, even though he don't know it, is going to help me do it.
Well, kid, you're looking fine. No one had guessed that 10 days ago you had a slug in you.
Yeah, Doc.
All right, Whitman, let me look at you. Now, keep that bow tie straight.
And it keeps twisting.
Well, don't let it twist. And don't do up the bottom button on your tux.
Huh?
Yeah, pull that handkerchief out of your pocket a little further, like that.
Okay.
All right. Let's go over to the mirror and see. Well, Doc, what do you say?
Except by instinct, Steve, I'd say it was improbable. Even your own mothers could tell you apart.
I hardly know which of us is me.
Neither one of us is you. We're both me. And don't forget it, even for a second.
Yeah, okay, Steve.
Now you're going to my nightclub with Doc.
Your nightclub?
That's right. The Silver Swan. I own it. Doc will point out everybody in the place to you. Tell you anything and everything you need to know about him. If you get in a spot and you don't know what the answer is, just stick a cigar in your face and let Doc do the talking. You got it?
Yeah, I got it.
And there's only one rub.
What's that, Steve?
Lorraine.
Oh, Lorraine, she's your girl, isn't she?
How do you know about her?
I read all about her on those clippings in your press book. Sings at your nightclub. Is she really as pretty as that photo on the piano?
Never mind how pretty she is or ain't.
Steve, you usually kiss her when she comes over to the table. If he doesn't kiss her, she might get suspicious and ask questions.
Okay, Whitman, you'll have to kiss her.
Oh, I will?
But make it quick. And when you do kiss her, grab her like I do. Come here, I'll show you how.
Maybe you two would like to be alone.
Shut up.
Don't you dance with her or anything, Steve?
No. Kiss her quick, Whitman, and get rid of her. Tell her that you and Doc got important business. Say you'll see her after the last show. By that time, I'll be there, and you'll be back here in the penthouse again. You understand?
I understand, Steve. Doc, this is just about the greatest experience in my whole life.
Yes, the club starts to ride pretty high at midnight Saturdays.
This place must have cost Steve a small fortune.
It did. But you better close your mouth and stop gaping like you never saw it before. Don't forget you're supposed to be the person who owns it. Here comes the waiter. Order rye highball.
But I like scotch and soda.
Steve likes rye highball.
Oh.
Evening, Mr. Yeager. Hiya, Doc.
Hello, Mike.
What'll it be, Mr. Yeager? Usual?
Yeah, Mike. Rye highball.
Coming right up, boss.
See that white-haired man with the party at the ringside table over there?
Yeah?
That's John Martin, city magistrate. Wave to him.
Okay. He a friend of Steve's?
Yeah, sort of.
Steve must know important people.
Yeah.
Remember me, mister?
Huh?
Why, all the surprise. You look as if you never saw me before.
Hello, Lorraine.
Hi.
Lorraine.
Well, who'd you think I was? Why are you staring?
Oh, I was just thinking. I don't know whether I ever told you before, but you know that photo of you doesn't half do you justice?
No, Steve, you never told me.
Oh, yeah. Do you mind if I kiss you?
You don't usually ask, do you?
No, I guess not.
Oh. Well,
Anything wrong?
hardly.
You look stunned.
Maybe it's because you never kissed me like that before. Seemed to be something different.
Steve, don't forget we've got a lot of important business to talk over.
Oh, yeah, business. I'll see you after the last show, Lorraine. Doc and I have got some important angles to work out.
Yes, sure, Steve, I understand. See you later.
Gosh.
Now, look, kid. Don't let's get any silly ideas. She's all wrapped up with a big, expensive tag on that reads hands off, property of Steve Yeager.
Yeah, I know, Doc.
Oh, there's the signal from Steve, Whitman. Now, you slip into his office and out the back door. Steve will take your place and none the wiser.
You sure nobody caught wise he wasn't me sitting at this table all the while, Doc?
No one, Steve. Not even Lorraine.
Uh-oh. Hang on to your bridge work, Doc. Here it comes.
Where?
Through the front door.
McAfee and Fennick.
Yeah, the headquarters twins. Well, if it ain't my two old sidekicks, Sergeant McAfee and Joe Fennick. Grab chairs and sit down, boys. What are you drinking?
Sorry, Steve, but this isn't that kind of a visit. Goldie Mize has just been bumped.
Goldie Mize?
Less than an hour ago, Steve.
No kidding, man. Oh, that's tough. Goldie was an okay guy. What's that got to do with me?
Captain got an idea in his head. He wants you brought to headquarters for questioning.
Mac, I've been here in the club with Doc ever since midnight.
You sure, Steve? All the time?
Sitting right here at this table we were.
Well, of course, though, except for about 3 minutes when I went into the office to write out a check.
And we have everybody here in the club to prove we were here. There's John Martin, Health Commissioner Woods.
They'll vouch for you?
Sure. You want me to call them over?
Skip it. I'll talk to them later. Sorry, Steve. Guess we made a mistake.
Yeah. I guess you did.
As the curtain falls on Act One of our story, it looks as though Steve Yeager has an ironclad alibi as far as the death of Goldie Mize is concerned. In just a moment, we'll see what the next move is.
Before you continue, Mr. Barnes, I'd like to say something to our men listeners. Men, I've been asking you for quite a while now to use Molle brushless shaving cream. Well, if you haven't used it yet, why not give your beard and skin a real break and try a Molle shave? When you do, I'm sure you'll find that Molle lives up to everything I've said about it. I've pointed out that Molle is a heavier cream, and it is. The kind of cream you need if you've got a wiry, hard-to-cut beard or a tender skin. It not only softens your whiskers, it holds them up better and lets your razor breeze right through them. In other words, when you shave with Molle, you shave faster, closer, easier, and you shave painlessly. Now, maybe that sounds pretty strong, but if you'll just try a Molle shave, I think you'll agree with me when I say it's smooth. So smooth. It's slick. So slick. It's a smooth, slick shave you get with Molle. Molle, the heavier brushless shaving cream for tender skins. Molle. And now back to Jeffrey Barnes and Act Two of Alibi for Murder.
By a strange coincidence, the down-and-out Dave Whitman is a perfect double for the notorious gangster Steve Yeager. While Dave poses as Yeager in the latter's nightclub, the gangster commits a murder. Now Yeager and his sidekick Doc are entering Yeager's apartment.
Did you see that McAfee's puss when I told him I was sitting in the club all the time?
And how quickly he backed down when we started rattling off the names of the witnesses who saw you in the club?
Yeah. Whitman, what do you call this?
Why, you got your old clothes on. The clothes you had on when we picked you up.
You couldn't have been taking yourself a quick run-out powder, Whitman.
That's exactly what I'm taking, Mr. Yeager. I didn't expect you back quite so soon. There's a note in your room telling you I'm resigning the fine job you gave me.
Resigning?
Yeah. When I took this job, I didn't know it included murder.
Murder?
I heard all about it on the radio a few minutes ago.
Charlie McCarthy's on the radio. You don't believe everything he says, do you?
It won't work, Steve. You wanted me to take your place at the club tonight so I'd be your alibi while you killed a man named Goldie Mize. Well, that's me out. I'm through as of right now.
Wait a minute, pal. You got this thing all wrong.
Ah, Steve, you're the one who's got it wrong. I'm washed up. I'm gone.
Stay away from that door, Whitman.
Let go my arm, Steve.
Sure, I'll let go. Right on your kiss it.
Okay, Yeager, two can play at that game.
I wouldn't try it, Whitman. You might find a little tough opposition in this gun I'm holding.
Yeah, take this handkerchief and wipe the blood off your mouth. I don't like the sight of blood. That's better.
If you're smart, Whitman, you'll also get any idea you might have about squawking to the police right out of your brain.
That's right. Unless you want to sit in my lap in the electric chair.
What do you mean?
No one would believe you and Steve weren't in on this thing together. Nobody'd ever believe you didn't know what you were doing.
Doc's right. Get smart.
Yeah, smart.
There's plenty in this for you. Now, what about it?
I don't seem to have any choice.
Now, we'll work the same game Monday night.
Okay.
And look, Whitman, just in case you try anything, Doc's going to have a gun on you from the time you walk out this door until you get back again. Right, Doc?
Check.
Doesn't this club ever have a slow night, Doc? It's jam-packed again tonight.
Yeah. What do you keep looking around over your shoulder for? Expecting somebody?
I'll be seeing you, Doc.
Hey, where you going?
To meet the somebody I was looking for. She just came through that little door we were talking about.
Wait, come back here.
Hi.
Oh. Hello, Steve.
Hey, you sound surprised.
It's the first time I ever saw you come to meet me.
Anything wrong?
Wrong?
Yeah, you stepped back away from me as I went to kiss you.
Oh, I'm sorry, Steve. Oh,
You look bewildered.
I am.
Why?
Why, you kissed me just now. You kissed me like that Saturday night when I came to your table. Something about it seemed so different.
Steve, we got business to talk over, remember?
Oh, yeah, Doc. I tell you what. You sit down and get all the details worked out, and I'll come back and argue the whole thing out with you.
But, there's that argument in my pocket. Might not wait.
Are you trying to tell me you'd use an argument like that on Steve Yeager in front of all these nice people?
But...
I said sit down, Doc. No, I mean sit down.
Okay. I'll be waiting.
Doc seems to be kind of unhappy about something.
Doc's getting older, ain't? No more romance.
I never heard you mention the word romance before.
Well, there's a lot of words you probably haven't heard me say that you're going to hear. Shall we dance?
Love to.
Lorraine,
Yeah?
I've been wondering lately. Are you really in love with a guy named Steve Yeager?
That's a funny question. But now that you've asked it, I always liked your looks and type, Steve. But except for twice, I'm afraid I've never been really in love with a man inside.
You said except for twice?
That's right. Saturday and...
Tonight?
Uh-huh. I just can't explain it, Steve. I suppose it sounds kind of silly, but you almost don't seem like the same person.
Ladies and gentlemen, make your best. The wheel is ready to turn. Men on the red, grab the box. Your favorite number is open for you.
Now, how did we get back here in the gambling room?
Maybe because I said I felt lucky.
How lucky?
Tonight, just about the luckiest person alive.
You got a quarter, lady?
Could be. Why?
Let me have it. We'll pool our interests. I've got a dime. A very lucky dime.
I thought you never
This
gave.
is a special occasion. Let's have the quarter.
All right. Here you are.
Here, you drop this lucky dime into your purse. There.
But I...
Come on, let's try our quarter on these slot machines.
All right.
This looks like a lucky machine. Here, you drop in the quarter.
Okay.
Now, I'll yank the lever.
Oh, those little wheels are spinning just like my brain. It's all so mixed up.
4 bars. Jackpot.
Oh, those quarters.
Oh, there must be easily $10. Tell you what, you take these quarters to the cashier and get 1 blue chip.
Steve, I'm so sorry to be long.
Shut up. Where's Whitman? Been cooling my heels in this office for the past half hour. You know I can't leave here until he comes.
He was at the big table, Steve. Let Lorraine walk away with 5 G's.
$5,000.
The dealer naturally thought he was you. Every time he smiled, the dealer touched the little button under the table, and the bell stopped on the number Lorraine had her chips
You
on.
stupid fool. This is all your fault.
But, Steve...
Shut up. Get him over to the penthouse and keep him there. I'll be over later.
Okay, Steve.
Oh, that Whitman, I'll break his neck when I get him, that punk.
Hey, boss.
Yeah, Louis?
The headquarters twins just came in. Says they want to buzz you about the murder of Slapsy Higgins.
Okay. Tell Lorraine I want her in here.
Lorraine ducked out a few minutes ago, boss.
Where'd you go?
I don't know, but she looked in off a hurry.
I wonder.
You wonder what, boss?
Nothing. The car out back?
Yeah, in the alley.
Okay, Louis, I want you to drive me home. Fast.
This is Jeffrey Barnes again. In just a few moments, we'll bring you Act 3 of Alibi for Murder.
When you have dandruff, you might just as well try to combat it with plain water as with most ordinary hair preparations. For such products, simply remove loose dandruff, and you can do that with plain water. To do more, to fight dandruff effectively, use double danderine. For double danderine is a scientific product that does what most ordinary hair preparations can't do. It goes to work on your scalp and actually kills on contact the germs that many outstanding authorities contend are a cause of a common type of dandruff. Now, the reason for double danderine's amazing effectiveness is that it contains a special ingredient called Alzan, an active antiseptic so remarkably efficient, many hospitals use it. Among hair preparations, double danderine and double danderine alone contains Alzan. So stop trying to combat dandruff with preparations that can't compare with double danderine. If you're not satisfied, return the empty bottle and get your money back. Buy double danderine at your druggist's.
Lorraine, you shouldn't have come here to the penthouse.
Lorraine?
And you're
Suppose
not
Steve should
Steve
come.
Yeager. Oh, darling, I'm glad. I'm so glad.
Oh, Lorraine, darling. I tried so many times to tell you the truth tonight, but for once Doc's right. You shouldn't have come here.
Who are you?
My name's Whitman, Dave Whitman.
Don't say any more, Whitman, I'll warn you.
Steve used me as his alibi for murder. I would have made a break for it, but I couldn't go without you. With that money we won tonight, Lorraine, I hoped we could go away somewhere and start over.
You've got to go, Lorraine. If Steve finds you, he'll kill both of you.
Been reading my mind, huh, Doc?
Steve.
Steve, I didn't hear you come in.
Louis just drove me over from the club. Well, just like something out of the movies. The big hero with a protecting arm around the girl's waist. It's kind of corny, Whitman. So this is why you took the quick run out from the club, huh, Lorraine?
I was right. There are 2 of you.
But not for long. Whitman, where are those rags you first came in?
Why?
Don't ask questions. Where are they?
In the bottom of the closet in the bedroom.
All right, Doc. Keep that gun of yours aimed at his shirt stud. I got me a quick change to make. Hope I didn't keep you waiting too long. Well, Doc, what are you gaping at?
Gosh, Steve, you look just like Whitman did that first night. The clothes, everything, even your mussed-up hair.
Yeah, I'd have dumped these things.
Hey, that's your wallet and credentials you're putting on the table.
Won't need them anymore. Now, Doc, I'll take your ride.
Sure, Steve. Here, but I don't understand.
It's simple, Doc. This is the end of the line. This is where you 3 get off.
3?
And Steve Yeager goes on alone.
But, Steve...
You've outlived your usefulness, Doc. Besides, you and these two are the only people in the world who know I have a double.
But, Steve, I wouldn't talk. You know that.
I know you haven't talked so far.
But, Steve, I'm not Popper Slaps your Goldie. I'm your friend.
I'm taking no chances, Doc. You, this two-timing dame, and the phony Steve Yeager get the lights blown out here and now.
Steve, no, please.
I had it figured out for a long time, Doc. You and a dame get it with my gun. Then while you're dying, you give it to Whitman here with your gun. Anyway, that's how it's going to look to the cops.
You're going to make them think Dave is you? That he killed Doc?
That's right. It's going to look swell in the tabloids. Doc Kinsella fooling around with Steve Yeager's girl, and who walks in but Steve?
You'll never get away with it, Yeager.
Why won't I? The cops haven't even got a fingerprint of me. I'll just fade into the ozone and become a character named Dave Whitman.
But why, Steve? Goldie's gone, Slaps is gone. You've no more competition in town. Steve.
Too bad. Doc wasn't a bad guy.
You ain't kidding, Mac.
What?
Doc was the best.
Louis.
Eyes front and drop the gun.
Don't be crazy, Louis. Take that rod out of my back.
Drop it, I said.
I don't know what you're doing, Louis.
Shut up and turn around so I can look at you.
All right, you satisfied it's me?
Steve. And another Steve over there. Am I seeing double or something?
Of course you're not seeing double. I'm Steve Yeager. This guy's just a hobo.
I don't know. I'd say you look more like the hobo in them clothes.
Louis, don't be stupid. I'm Steve, I tell you. Look at me.
Yeah, Louis, look at us. Good.
I'm all mixed up.
Now, it's simple, Louis. It's just a shakedown. He found out he looked like me, killed a couple of people, and then tried to blackmail me.
He's lying, Louis. I'm Steve Yeager.
If he was Steve Yeager, would he shoot Doc Kinsella, his best friend?
No, I guess he wouldn't.
Louis, he's trying to confuse you. Look, they're my credentials on the table.
No, Louis, they're my credentials. I just told you he was trying to shake me down.
I want to be sure. I wouldn't want to pull this trigger on the wrong guy.
You'll be pulling it on the wrong guy if you kill me.
Wait a second, Louis. You know whose girl Lorraine is, don't you?
Sure, everybody knows that. She's Steve Yeager's girl.
Then ask her which one of us she loves.
It's a trick, a dirty, rotten trick.
That wasn't very smart, him trying to rush my gun. Gosh, I didn't want to kill a guy. But, well, you saw for yourself, Steve. He was grabbing for my gun. It was either him or me.
We've got to get out of here quick before the police come.
Yeah, we better get out of here.
You go ahead, Louis. A few things I got to clean up here.
Yeah, okay, boy.
Quick, lock the door.
Right.
Good. Now then.
What are you doing, Dave?
The only thing we can do. I'm calling the police.
Where are we going, Dave?
Any place where people won't take me for Steve Yeager's ghost. Brother, what a job it was straightening out that mess with the police.
Yes, especially after they picked up Louis and he insisted you were Steve. What are you thinking about, darling?
Well, honey, 2 weeks ago, I rode into town in a freight car with a thin dime in my pocket. Now I'm riding out of town with the world in the palm of my hand.
And now this is Jeffrey Barnes again, inviting you to be with us next week when we present a great study in suspense entitled The Creeper by Joseph Rushko.
The original music for the Molle Mystery Theater is composed and conducted by Alexander Semmler. Alibi for Murder was written and adapted for radio by Martin Ryerson. Elspeth Eric, Mandel Kramer, and John Sylvester were featured in tonight's program. This is Dan Seymour saying goodnight until next Friday at this same time when the Mystery Theater presents The Creeper.
Tonight's Mystery Theater presentation came to you from Radio City in New York. This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
That was the Molle Mystery Theater with Alibi for Murder, as originally heard March 22nd, 1946. I'll be back with more in just a moment. Welcome back to Classic Radio Rewind. Coming up this Thursday, beginning at 6 a.m. Eastern Time, is Old Time Radio USA's first annual Christmas in July special. 24 hours of your favorite Christmas episodes from the holiday season, filled with sing-alongs and timeless Christmas classics. This will begin at 6 a.m. Eastern Time, July 25th, over on Old Time Radio USA. With this being the first time having the Christmas in July special, let me know how you liked it or didn't like it. Send an email to Barry at WOTRRadionetwork.com. Peeking into the future, coming in August is National Radio Day on August 20th. More coming up on that in coming episodes and on our website. Also, if you like what you hear on Classic Radio Rewind, you can drop me a like and let me know your thoughts at the same address, Barry at WOTRRadionetwork.com. Don't forget to check out WOTR Radio Network's network of old-time radio stations. Old Time Radio USA, if you want to listen to all the different genres of old-time radio. Suspense Radio USA, for those of you who are fans of radio's outstanding theater of thrills. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week of tales well calculated to keep you in suspense on Suspense Radio USA. For you detective fans out there, check out Crime Time Radio USA. Your favorite dames, gumshoes, spies, police shows, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week there as well. And lastly, Radio Mystery Theater USA. Listen here to get your fix of E.G. Marshall in episodes from the CBS Radio Mystery Theater. You can relive all those shows 24 hours a day, 7 days a week there too. Well, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Classic Radio Rewind. If you have friends who appreciate the golden age of radio, don't forget to share this podcast with them. Let's continue to enjoy and spread the timeless entertainment of the golden age of radio. I do hope you can join us next week for another 2-hour block of classic radio shows. Until then, this is Barry Slinker saying goodbye for now.
Classic Radio Rewind is a production of the WOTR Radio Network. For more Classic Radio Rewind and to listen to any of the WOTR Radio Network stations, go to www.wotrradionetwork.com.